Hello everyone, my name is David. Today we are going to take a look at another horrible case with you. The date was September 5th, 2017, and around 7 p.m., a man arrived to close a temple in the city of Panipat. Panipat is the city in India's one of the wealthiest states, Haryana. However, during this time, as he was locking each room one by one, he came across a room where he saw the dead body of a girl. Upon seeing the dead body of the girl, he felt as if acid had been thrown on her face and someone had just committed this crime. Upon witnessing this scene, the man became completely flustered, so he quickly called the police. Later, when the police arrived at the crime scene, they immediately understood that the murderer had burned the face of the body so that it couldn't be identified. On the other hand, this case was completely unique for the police because such a gruesome crime in a sacred place like a temple is very rare. However, the killer who burned the victim's face was exceptionally clever. So the police felt that it could be very difficult to find evidence of the victim and the accused in this case. But the police were astonished when they found an identity card belonging to a girl named Jyoti near the dead body, which included an Aadhaar card, a college ID, and a phone. In India, Aadhaar card, a type of identification card used in India, and through this Aadhaar card, Jyoti's address was also traced. Additionally, the police also learned from Jyoti's college ID card that she was a third-year Bachelor of Arts student. With these identification documents, the police confirmed that the dead body indeed belonged to Jyoti. Subsequently, the police obtained a contact number of one of Jyoti's family members from her own phone and informed the family about the situation. Now, Jyoti's family was already very worried because their daughter had left for college at 9 in the morning, and now it was almost night, yet she hadn't returned home. Anyway, Jyoti's family reached the location provided by the police, and when Jyoti's father saw the corpse lying in the temple, he burst into tears because it was his daughter, Jyoti's body. Although Jyoti's face was completely burnt, her parents were able to identify her by the clothes, height, hair, and items found at the scene of the incident. After identifying the dead body, the police sent it to the hospital for post-mortem examination. Meanwhile, during this process, the police took some photographs of Jyoti's dead body at the crime scene so that these pictures could be useful for further investigation. Subsequently, on the other hand, the police registered a case of Jyoti's murder. After the post-mortem examination, on September 6th, the police handed over Jyoti's body to her family. Then, with heavy hearts, Jyoti's family performed her final rites. During this whole incident, on September 5th, another case comes to the attention of the Panipat police, which was the disappearance of a girl named Simran Dubet. During this time, the police are surprised when they find out that Simran and Jyoti were both studying in the same college and same class, and both have been missing since September 5th. Jyoti's dead body had already been found, but there was still no information about Simran. Upon hearing the news of Jyoti's murder, Simran's family also became quite fearful as the 5th and 6th September passed by, when on the 7th September, Simran's father, Alok Dubey, goes to the police station to get an update on his daughter's missing case. They see some police officers discussing Jyoti's case at the station. During this time, a police officer shows him a picture of Jyoti's corpse that was taken by the police at the crime scene. But Alok Dubey carefully examines the picture of Jyoti's corpse. Now, at this moment, a police officer asks him why he is looking at this picture so carefully. In response, Simran's father says that he feels like this might be his daughter, Simran. Now, upon hearing this, even the police are stunned, and they also say, "What are you saying? How is that possible?" In response to this, Alok also says that although I have never seen Simran wearing these clothes, but I feel like this might be my daughter Simran. Now, upon hearing this, the senses of every policeman present in the police station are blown away, because if what Simran's father is saying is true, it would create a huge uproar. Afterwards, the police reassured Simran's father and sent him home. On the other hand, the police didn't talk to Jyoti's family about it and contemplated resolving the matter secretly. Later, the police obtained call details of Jyoti's number, which revealed that Jyoti had last spoken to a boy named Krishna. However, from these call details, it was also found that Jyoti had been talking to this boy multiple times daily. Upon seeing this, the police immediately reached Jyoti's house and questioned her father about Krishna. Jyoti's father only knew that he was a good friend of their daughter Jyoti, and that they had known each other for several months. However, one thing seemed strange to Jyoti's father. Despite being Jyoti's best friend, Krishna hadn't attended her funeral. Upon hearing this, the police became suspicious of Krishna. Their theory was that Krishna might have murdered Jyoti and hadn't even attended his best friend's funeral for fear of being caught. Now the police, suspecting Krishna even more, went to his house. However, something very surprising was discovered there. It turned out that Krishna's family members said that Krishna had fled from home with 135,000 rupees since September 5th. Learning this, the police's suspicion towards Krishna intensified even more. Moreover, the police learned from someone that when Krishna ran away with the money, Simran was with him at that time. After this news, now suspicions started to arise against Simran as well for the murder of Jyoti. Therefore, the police have now published the photos of both of them in the local newspaper and announced a reward for anyone who provides information about them. Upon learning of this, Simran's father, Alok Dubet, reached the police station and filed a report against Krishna for Simran's kidnapping. Alok stated that any allegations against his daughter's character are completely false. However, even after this, the police focus on locating Krishna and Simran. During this time, the police were also trying to track the smartphones of Krishna and Simran. But due to both of their phones being off, their location could not be determined. However, after waiting for a while, Krishna turns on his phone and his location is traced to the beautiful city of Shimla in India. As soon as Krishna's location is known, a team of police immediately sets off for Shimla. Upon reaching Shimla, with the help of local police, they begin searching all the hotels in Shimla. During this search, hundreds of hotels were searched, but then the police became suspicious after looking at the register of one hotel. Actually, no one in that hotel was staying under the names of Krishna and Simran, but the police noticed two names whose address was in Panipat. After that, the police quickly reached outside their hotel room and knocked on the door. But what the police saw next was astonishing. Jyoti opened the door, and there lay Krishna on the bed. It turned out that the girl whose last rites were performed by Jyoti's family was not Jyoti, but someone else. Both of them had given false names, Shyam and Radha, at the hotel reception to evade the police, but they hadn't changed their address, which led to their capture. Now the police had two questions. First, if Jyoti is alive, then who was the girl whose last rites were performed by Jyoti's family? And second, the police didn't even know where Simran was. But now the police take both Krishna and Jyoti with them to Panipat. At the police station, Jyoti's father is summoned, and upon seeing Jyoti alive before him, the ground slips beneath his feet. By now, this case had become very complicated, so the police presented them in court for detailed interrogation and gathering evidence. From there, the police obtained a 4-day remand for Jyoti and Krishna. After that, the interrogation process begins rigorously. Soon after, they start telling the police a story that was no less than a script from a crime thriller movie. In fact, the primary objective of NSS, which stands for National Service Scheme, is to develop the personality and character of students and youth through voluntary community service. Jyoti and Simran were both members of the NSS, so they became friends easily. Additionally, they both met Krishna at an NSS camp. However, during this time, Jyoti fell in love with Krishna at first sight, and soon Krishna also found out about it. After that, they started meeting frequently, and soon they fell in love with each other, to the point where they decided to marry each other. However, the problem was that Jyoti and Krishna belonged to different castes, so Jyoti knew that her family would never agree to her marrying Krishna. And now it had reached a point where they couldn't live without each other. Therefore, Krishna planned to elope from his home to get married, but Jyoti didn't agree with Krishna's plan. because if she eloped and got married, it would bring a lot of shame to her family and society. After that, they started brainstorming for an idea that would allow them to stay together for a lifetime. Now, an idea struck their minds that if they were to make it seem like they disappeared, like two unidentified bodies found dead, they could successfully prove to people that if Krishna and Jyoti were to die, then these two people could live together in the different state. Now Simran's height, body, and hairstyle were just like Jyoti's, so both of them found their first prey, but now Krishna set out for his second prey, where he saw his friend Manjeet, who almost resembled Krishna a little. After this, Jyoti tells Simran that they have been called for the rehearsal of the play to be held in college. Meanwhile, Krishna also called Manjeet to this temple under the pretext of an NSS camp and told him that some senior military officers might also come there, with whom we could have a meeting. But during this time, Manjeet got some work in his college, so he had to return to college. But now, since Simran had already reached the temple at Jyoti's insistence, as soon as Krishna and Jyoti saw Simran, they first gave her a cold drink in which sleeping pills were mixed. After a while, Simran fainted, and then Krishna mercilessly throttled Simran and killed her. After this, Jyoti dressed Simran's body in her clothes and then poured acid on her face to erase her identity. In addition, Jyoti left her college ID card, Aadhaar card, and mobile phone near Simran's body because if the police find out about this dead body, they might think it's Jyoti's. Afterwards, Krishna and Jyoti waited for Manjeet for quite some time. However, he didn't come to the temple because he had some work at the college. After that, both Krishna and Jyoti left their city and went to the city of Chandigarh, which is about 100 miles from Panipat. However, they didn't stay in Chandigarh for long either, and then they caught a bus from there and reached the city of Shimla, which is about 70 miles from Chandigarh. Here they took a room in a hotel named Royal Hotel, but they had no idea that the police would chase them. But when the police finally found both of them, they were also surprised at how the police managed to catch them so quickly. But after the whole story unfolded, Simran's family sank into deep grief because, first, two heartless people killed their daughter for their own benefit, and second, they didn't even get the chance to perform the last rites of their daughter. However, on 7 September, Alok Dubey had recognized that it was Simran's body by seeing the earring in the ear and the bracelet tied to the hand of the body found in the temple. But little did the police know that it was not Jyoti who died but Simran. However, during the post-mortem of Simran's dead body, forensic experts had preserved some samples of her body. After that, when the blood sample of Simran's parents was also taken, their DNA matched with Simran's body found in the temple. After this, the police also found out that the fake documents with which Krishna and Jyoti stayed at the Shimla hotel were provided to Krishna by one of his friends. But after this revelation, the police also arrested that friend of Krishna. Subsequently, the police presented Krishna and Jyoti in court, from where they were sent to jail. Meanwhile, the trial of this case continued, and during the year 2020, Krishna died in jail due to illness. During this time, the testimony of 26 people was presented in court, and finally, on March 28, 2023, the court declared Jyoti guilty of Simran's murder and sentenced her to life imprisonment. After this decision of the court, Simran's mother, Usha Dubey, said, "Today my daughter has got justice. My daughter was innocent. She had no idea about this betrayal happening to her. But today I am very happy because the one who murdered my daughter, Jyoti, has received a life sentence." In this case, Manjeet's luck was the best as he escaped from the clutches of Krishna and Jyoti. But it seems that the mastermind of this case, Krishna, was punished by God himself, and therefore he died in jail due to a terrible illness. So with that, the Simran Dubet murder case comes to an end right here. Friends, I have a small request for you. I want to let you know that behind the David True Crime channel, there is a team of 5 people who work hard to bring you the best quality content through thorough research. If you appreciate our efforts, you can support us according to your preference by visiting the link provided in the description. Your small support will motivate us to work effectively on the channel. Thank you. Additionally, if you want to recommend any Indian case for us to make a detailed video on, you can write the name of that case in the comment section. If you appreciate our efforts, like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed, do so now. Thank you.